You don't like it's Tzadikim from 1982.
Would I know it? Would we know it?
Maybe. Now you'll know it. You don't lie, 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 did it all lie, 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 did it all lie, 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 did it all lie, did it all lie, 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 did it all lie, 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 did it all lie, lie. I lie, lie, did it all lie, my did it lie, 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 Simcha and Leah are grandparents.
I saw.
You saw?
Yeah.
And your great grandparents.
Wow.
As your first grandchildren, great grandchildren.
Yeah. Okay, so we are on page 73, 74? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we did yesterday.
So I'm just telling you that I'm probably going to be interrupted at 1 o'clock. It's supposed to be this cleaning lady. Hopefully will show up. We haven't had good luck with anyway. So we're gonna just have a look at the bottom of 75 and second last paragraph. Actually, third last paragraph. So we've talked about how come Noach didn't pray to Hashem, right? We saw a couple of ideas about that, and one of them was that he believed in God, but he didn't believe that God believes in him, right? Another one was that he didn't know the power of prayer, you know. So now what Shlomo says, it's just before the third last paragraph in 75. So look at the 75.
Did you guys do it?
No, we did 74, but just that I did 75 last night on the Parshat class. Okay, so you can see it. Julie's gonna look for her phone soon because I think she's supposed to be sleeping. I just heard her that she's up. Okay. She's smart. She'll figure it out. She was up like the whole night, the night before the birth, and she was up from 1 in the morning till 1 last night. She was up for 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Was she with them at the hospital?
Yeah, she was with them and everything. And anyway, so Pashut. Simu lev. Now look at the title of the page. Ana hitpalel bevakasha. Please daven. Please pray. And it's relating to the verse, Aseh lecha tevat atzei gopher. Make for yourself an ark of gopher wood. I don't know what kind of wood gopher wood is, but I don't know what it is in English. But anyway, now you know the teaching of the Baal Shem Tov. Bichlal, always remember the teaching of Reb Nachman and others, that every story in the Torah is about us. Right? Every story in the Torah is about us. So the whole idea of the Mabul, of the turbulent waters, is basically the turbulent waters that we find ourselves in all the time, which throw us from side to side and disorient us, and very often make us forget why I'm here, what am I trying to accomplish, where am I trying to get to, right? So Hashem says to Noach, Bo el hateva, enter into the ark. The Baal Shem Tov explains, teva also means word.
Right.
Right?
Word?
Word, milah.
Tevot, letter, I think. Right.
Tevot means letters, and it also means words. Okay? So the Baal Shem Tov says, Bo el hateva, enter into the words of your prayer. In other words, by going deep into your davening, it helps you reorient yourself and refocus, right? So that why am I doing this? What did I come for? Like, can you imagine? Like, I think everyone said this to in the class. Can you imagine our souls up in Shemayim, and notice comes that the first biggest indoor shopping center in Toronto, in Canada, Yorkdale, opened up, was the first biggest indoor shopping center in Canada. And can you imagine our souls up in Shemayim saying, God, please send me down to earth. I want to go shopping. No, we can't imagine that. What's wrong with you?
I can't imagine it myself either. I'm not so excited.
It's okay, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you get lost there.
Big time.
It all looks the same.
When was it open?
To you, I see. You can't see color.
Anyway, the right. So our neshamas weren't looking like like they didn't come down to earth so we can go shopping.
Maybe my neshama wants dresses. I don't know.
Yeah, of course it does, but the real kind, mitzvahs.
You don't have a body. What do you need dresses for?
Now she has.
Now you do.
Yeah.
They're up in heaven.
Okay. So we're here. The neshama is here, and it's in this turbulent flood. The waters are pushing us this way, right? I don't know if the Hasidim have this minute that Friday before Mincha, we say Psalm 107, and it's Hoidul Hashem Kitov Ki Lo'olam Chazdoi. It's about the 4 situations for which you have to bring a quote.
All morning.
Yeah. Pass me a Tzilat Hashem Siddur for a second. Actually,
there's
one here.
You say this Siddur before Shabbat?
Yeah, before Mincha on Friday.
Before Mincha Friday.
So it's the 4 situations that a person would have to bring a Korban Todah. And the 4 situations which nowadays we do Birkat Gomer. So one of them, the first one is people who crossed over the desert, right, and faced starvation and thirst and everything, and they cried out to God, and He saved them. So they're supposed to make a Sudat Hoda'ah. Second one is those who were in prison and they got out, okay, and they cried and they got out. So they too have to make a Sudat Hoda'ah. The third one is somebody who was loyalin, sick, a dangerous illness, and was healed, also has to make a Sudat Hoda'ah. And the fourth one is people who work, who cross the oceans, who work in the big ships and so on. And listen to this description.
Even if you're a passenger?
Also, yeah, that's just like when you go on a plane, you know.
Doesn't say like if your life was saved.
No, geez. Of course, no.
So would that be the
but
fifth?
just the fact that you went through that, that's you know, like your life was saved. You know, because you went through a dangerous situation. But
How about crossing the street in Jerusalem?
so listen to this line. Well, so it says Yodei Hayam Ba'aniyot, those who go down to the sea in the ships. They work in the deep waters. They've seen the works of God and His amazing things in the deep. God commands, God speaks, and all of a sudden there's a stormy wind. When the waves lift, and they find themselves like going up, whoop, to the sky, and then all of a sudden, boom, down, deep, right? And their souls begin to melt in this terrible situation. They stagger like a drunkard. And all their wisdom is gone. They cried out to God in their distress. And what did He do? He takes them out of their distress. All of a sudden the storm gets silenced, and the waves are tranquil. Right? So this is a very strong description of what it's like to be in the turbulent waters. Right?
You're reading from Zehel just now?
Yeah, 107.
Scary.
Life is scary. So the whole Parshat Noach, oh, but is there a student here? So the Parshat Noach is very, very much like, you know, about our lives, right? So Shem says to Noach, make yourself an ark. Okay, so page 975.
It's like the first Beit HaMikdash or first Beit Knesset.
First Beit Knesset, first sanctuary. In other words, you have to have a sanctuary in life. You have to have a place where, after going through all the turbulence in your life, which is really disorienting, right? You got to have some kind of place of tranquility where you can calm down and make sure that you have your focus on, why am I here in this world? What did I come to do? Right? Okay? I just did some plumbing this morning. Like, did I come to be a plumber? Well, this morning I had to be a plumber, and that's why the kitchen looks the way it does.
I don't know.
Huh?
I wasn't in there. I don't know.
So you got to do the plumbing, you got to paint, you got to go make a living, you got to this, right? But the world that we're living in is always saying, no, this is really important. You got to really work, break your back so you can buy a yacht, so you can lie on your yacht with a broken back, like chas v'shalom, right? Right? Work so that you can eat so that you can work, and that's it, right?
All the rat race.
So
It's in a place, but it's also in time. It's a Shabbat.
in everything.
You need time, special time. You also need special place.
Yeah. Okay, so look at the middle of page 75. So he says like this. Actually, go 2 lines before they like literally the paragraph beginning with the word Noach. Noach lumat zot, right? Noach, in distinction from Abraham, lo kibel et ha'ot. He didn't get,
Or from Abraham.
in distinction to Abraham, I'm sorry. He didn't get it. He didn't get the sign that God was giving him. Noach was a tzaddik, and his thing was, whatever God is putting on his plate, that's what he's accepting. Believe without arguing, right? See, we argue with God. Who was the first Jew? Avraham Avinu. Why was he the first Jew? Because he argued with God. God said, "You're arguing with me? Oh, you must be Jewish." Right? Right? So Noach just accepted things the way they are. Noach hiskim lekabel et kol ma she'Hashem shalach. Noach agreed to take it to whatever God was sending. He took it.
He didn't question it.
Right? I once, when I was a student in university, I went for a job interview, and I went to one of these companies that that place people in corporations and this and that, and it turned out that I had an appointment for 10 o'clock. The guy who was supposed to interview me was a shtickle anti-Semite, so he kept on taking other people in front of me. And finally, comes lunchtime, he says, "Oh, I have to go to lunch." So then 2 minutes later, his boss comes out and he looks at me and says, "You're still here?" So I said, "Yeah, the guy left." So he interviewed me. And it was applying for a job in some corporate office or whatever. I used to be in economics, So he, after 5 minutes, he says to me, he says, "You're Jewish, aren't you?" So I said, "Yeah." So he says, "It's not a job for a Jewish boy. You're not going to say yes to whatever anybody tells you." I said, "You're right. Thank you." And he says, "Don't waste your time. This is not the kind of stuff for you." And
did you ever continue in that area?
I eventually went into Jewish education, but even in Jewish education, I used to negotiate for the union, and I worked over the years. I worked for 4 principals. 2 of them really appreciated the fact that I stood up for what I believed in, and 2 of them couldn't stand me because I stood up. Anyway, so Noach didn't get the sign, right? Noach hiskim lekabel et kol ma she'Hashem shalach.
And it means that he didn't receive. He wasn't open to receiving it, maybe.
So
Simu Levi doesn't mean that God didn't give it.
Of course, God gave it. Simu Levi ledavar amok mod. Now listen to something very deep. Damyenu shemishu hu mitkasher elai. Imagine somebody gets in touch with me. V'omer shma, listen. Ba'od sha'a ani mitabed. Chas v'shalom. The guy says, "Listen, in an hour I'm planning to commit suicide." אני רק רוצה להיפרד לשלום. I just want to leave and live tranquility in tranquility. האם פירוש הדבר שהאדם הזה באמת רוצה להתאבד? Is he calling me because he really wants to commit suicide?
No.
בוודאי שלא. Obviously not. הוא רק מבטא כמה הוא רוצה שיבוא להיות איתו. What he's really telling me is how desperate he is that I should come and spend some time with him. כשהשם אמר לנוח, עשה לך תיבת עצי גופר, when God said to Noach, make yourself an ark, ואני הנני מביא את המבול מים על הארץ לשחט כל בשר, and I'm going to flood the world, מה הוא רוצה באמת לומר לו? What is Hashem really wanting to tell Noach? בעומק, השם מתחנן לנוח, in the depth of it is that Hashem is begging Noach, אנא אל תיתן לי להשחית את העולם. Please don't let me destroy the world. התפלל, דוון, עשה משהו, do something. בבקשה, עשה משהו, I'm begging you, do something. ולכן הזוהר הקדוש אומר, so therefore the Zohar says, שכל כמה שנוח היה קדוש, as much as Noach was holy, והאמין בהשם, and he believed in God, הוא לא האמין מספיק בעצמו. He didn't believe in himself enough. הוא לא האמין שהוא במדרגה, שהשם יבקש ממנו להתפלל שהעולם לא יושחת. He didn't believe that God would ask him to daven that the world should not be destroyed. Right? The fact of the matter is that people are always turning to me, to you. They're asking for some kind of they're asking for something, right? And we got to learn how to listen, right? That's one of the biggest skills of a social worker, to learn how to listen. Got to learn how to listen. Like, some of Shlomo used to say, somebody says, what time is it? You really think that they can't figure out what time it is? What they're saying is, I've lost so much time in my life, I don't know what I'm going to do, right? Somebody says, how do you get from here to there? Well, they can't figure it out. What they're saying is, please, I'm lost, can you help me, right? You understand? You got to learn how to listen. And so basically, the Indian is that was upstairs, or
maybe upstairs.
Right? So basically, like, let's say, like and earlier in the page, right? Like somebody says, oh, I lost 10 agurot, it's not the kind of thing that, like, or you see somebody throwing away 10 agurot. So it's not a huge thing, right? But if somebody has $1 million and he's throwing away $1 million and he says, I'm going to throw away $1 million, you're going to say, like, man, what's going on? Right? Shem says, I created the world and I'm going to destroy it. You just accept it just like that. Right? Page 76. Ha'olam shel Hashem. אנחנו מאמינים שהשם ברא את העולם, we believe that God created the world, וזה נהדר, and it's beautiful, אבל יש אמונה במדרגה אחרת לגמרי. There's a faith that's on a much higher level, on a much different level. להאמין שהשם דואג לכל פחת ופחת של כל אדם בעולם. To believe that Hashem is concerned and paying attention to every detail that's pertinent to every person. This is what we talk about when we speak about hashgacha pratit. And there are different opinions among the Rishonim, like, what exactly is Hashgacha Pratit? Is Hashem paying attention to every individual person, or is Hashem paying attention to the group as a group? Is Hashem paying attention to like to every individual Japanese or Chinese person? So the students asked the Baal Shem Tov, how far is Hashgacha Pratit? The Baal Shem Tov said they were out in the field. He says, "Follow me." And the wind had blown a leaf off a tree, and it was blowing in the wind. And he says, "Come with me." And they followed the leaf until finally the leaf stopped by some grasses, and then a certain bug came out from the earth and started eating the leaf. Okay, Baal Shem Tov says that's Hashgacha Pratit. In other words, that even which leaf is going to come off the tree and the wind to make it blow and to bring it to a certain spot, and it's going to stop at that spot, so that worm should have what to eat. All this is Hashgacha Pratit, right? Hashem is paying attention to every cell in the body. You see, today it's a little bit easier to imagine than it used to be, right? Because human beings have a problem. We sort of, whether we like it or not, and if we don't watch out, we usually conceptualize of Hashem as a child as an old man in the sky with a big white beard. When you get older and you realize, okay, so he doesn't have a white beard, fine. But you're still conceptualizing of Hashem in human ways, because the reality is that you can't get out of your skin. Your mind cannot leave the confines of time and space, right? So because, but we got to learn to stretch our mind to go to the extreme of our intelligence, and that's where we begin to meet faith. Okay. Now, do you remember the mission in Pirkei Avot? Tistakel b'shlosha dvarim ve'ein ata ba lidei abira, right? Ayin ro'ah v'ozen shemat v'chol ma'asecha b'sefer nichtavim, right? That God sees everything, God is listening to everything, everything is getting recorded, right? So I remember as a kid, I was thinking, when we learned this Mishnah, if I go into a room that's inside another room, that's inside another room, that's inside another room, how could Hashem possibly see me, right? And I figured out that every time I opened the door to get into the next room, Hashem probably snuck in together with me, But imagine you're learning the Mishnah today with kids. The eye is looking and the ear is listening and everything is being recorded. So how impressed are the kids going to be? They're going to pick up their iPhone. They're going to say, Ayin ro'ah, ozen shomat, v'chol ma'asecha b'sefer nichtavim, right? So it's a big question. It's a big didactic question. So how are you going to teach that Mishnah today, right? So does that mean that God has like a super iPhone?
The iPhone 8.
Okay. God has a super iPhone, right? What does it mean? So obviously the Mishnah is not about technology. But the Mishnah is about, all this is working with just eight satellites running around in the world. But if I'm using Google Maps or whatever it is or Waze, and it'll tell me you made a wrong turn, you did that. But does it know why I'm going? Does it know what my intention is? Does it know my thoughts? No, it doesn't know. You understand? But it's not about the technology of Hashem. The point is that Hashem is watching, Hashem is listening. Hashem is listening. Hashem, everything's getting recorded. It means that Hashem cares about everything. Right? You only look at things and you listen to things and you pay and you record in your memory, in your mind, only things that you really care about. Things that you don't care about, you just, you don't even pay attention to. You don't even notice. Okay. I told you that there was, I think the New York Times or somebody did a study in New York. They took people and they dressed them up like homeless people and they put them in the streets where members of their family normally walk by, members of their people that they worked with walked by, and they didn't notice them. Not because if they would have looked, they would have recognized them, you understand? But they didn't. Besides not recognizing them, it's just because people don't look at them. Like, like they're just like faceless people, right? Anyway, so the point is that Hashgacha Pratit means that Hashem is paying to everything that's happening in your life, every cell in your body. Is it hard to imagine? So what I started up saying is that it's easier for us to imagine it than it was ages ago, like 70 years ago or whatever. Right? And like I remember at Expo 67 in Montreal, so the Bell Telephone had a pavilion, and they had a mock-up of a telephone where you can speak to somebody and also see them at the same time. And like a little black and white screen on it, you know what I'm saying? Today, Skype, this, that, it sounds gorgeous, okay? So now this whole idea of Hashgacha Pratit is very, very important, because that means that Hashem was there also when you were going through something very, very harsh. If you did, Chas v'Shem, okay? Hashem was there b'shas ma'aseh while it was going on, and that raises a serious question. Hashem, why did you let it happen? Okay, that's a deep question, and that raises the question of: do I really believe that everything that Hashem does is for the good? Okay? That's a question that has to be resolved. Okay? Now, Rav Leibish was giving a class to the Smicha students on Wednesday, or Tuesday actually, and there's a famous parable. Somebody's at nighttime and somebody's looking for something on the ground near the street lamp. Somebody's passing by and he says, "Hey, what are you looking for?" He says, "Oh, I dropped a gold coin. How can I help you look for it?" "Yeah, please do." "Where did you lose it?" "I lost it in my backyard." "So why are you looking over here by the street lamp?" "Watch, whatever. Right? Why are you looking over here by the street lamp?" "Because it's dark over there." Okay. So now what's interesting, the interesting thing is that, so Oppenheimer, that famous physicist from the Manhattan Project, so apparently he related that science is a big lamp that illuminates a certain part, a certain aspect of the universe. Did I mention this yesterday?
Yes.
Yesterday, right?
Yes, yesterday.
Right? But to find God, right, is in those places where you wonder about, like, were you watching over me when this was happening to me? Is everything that you do good? Right? And that's the struggle, and you got to find that. Okay? So he says, the Noach had a broad perspective, klal olamit, he had like a world view. Amnam kol haolam yecharev, yeah, the world is going to be destroyed. Chashav, aval mishu yishaer, but somebody's going to survive. Mashu yuchal lamshich, something will be able to continue. Aval Noach lo ta'am be'emet ma ha'omek shel kol adam v'adam ba'olam. In other words, so he thought to himself, okay, mankind is going to continue. Right? But he didn't have any sense of how important every single individual is. Anashim rabim mitamsim v'osim hakol l'hatzil et ha'olam. A lot of people are joining forces and doing everything to save the world. He's talking about the environmentalists. They're concerned about the world. אבל לא כל כך אכפת להם מבני אדם, but they're not so concerned about people. כשקראת השם בריתם, you got that? In other words, misplaced compassion type of thing, you understand? Or כשקראת השם ברית עם נוח, when Hashem made the covenant with Noach, והבטיח שלעולם לא יחריב עוד את העולם, that he's never going to destroy the world again, הוא אפשר לנו לטעום קצת, so Hashem gave us the possibility to taste a little bit, כמה חסד החדיר בעולם, how much kindness God is penetrating the world with, בשעה שברא עולם, אותו. At the moment, let me just finish the paragraph. As it says in Tehillim, Olam Chesed Yibaneh. The whole world is built with Chesed. Chesed b'madriga acheret legamri. Chesed on a totally different level. Harbe yoter amok, much deeper. Yeah.
So
do me a favor, go give Judy her phone.
But I wanted
walk
to
upstairs and
ask
tell her her name. Tell her that I took it away because I wanted her to sleep.
Deeper than
And
what
that
Noach.
nobody called in the
Say
meantime.
deeper than what Noach had understood. That's what you meant by Noach.
Yeah.
So Hashem made the covenant with Noah that he won't destroy the world again. But did Noah ever ask for that? Did he ever pray for that? Did he ever say, Hashem, please don't ever do this again?
Doesn't say that in the Chumash.
So like Hashem made this covenant no. It's not like anybody on the world asked for it.
Maybe yes, maybe no, but it's not written. Yes, right.
And that sentence that you said, it was very funny. It was also floating around my mind. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. It's been floating around my mind for the past 3 days.
So I guess you're psychic. Anyway, so
do you have it or?
anyway, so the see we maybe not. For example, in my house when we grew up, we weren't allowed to throw out any food. My parents said that they went through starvation in the Holocaust, and they swore that they would never throw out food. We didn't throw out bread. We didn't, you got your meal. You had to return your plate clean. At the end of the meal, you took a piece of bread and wiped the plate clean. There was no such thing as taking something on your plate and then leaving half to throw in the garbage, right? But then came the 60s and the 70s and so on, and everything became like a disposable society, right? So much is thrown out. Baruch Hashem, there's an organization here called Leket Yisrael, that they go around to the weddings and to the bar mitzvahs, and they take the leftover foods to distribute it among the homeless, among the hungry people. But when I was here in 1994 with my students on March of the Living, every meal that we were served here in Israel, I can tell you, at least 50% was thrown out. Like there's this idea that you're making it like you're serving a meal, huh?
Like in the army and most yeshivas.
I don't know about the yeshivas, but it depends which yeshiva. But it was this idea that after the people had after the Holocaust, food. We got to give you a lot, and so we grew up and like we didn't have 10 T-shirts. We didn't have like 10 pairs of pants and 10 shirts, and you had all your possessions you can fit into a little carry-on. That's the way it was. National Geographic did a very interesting photo assignment maybe 20 years ago. They published it as a book. They sent photographers around the world, or they got photographers around the world to photograph families, middle-class families with 2 children and all their possessions. So in Africa, what was considered a middle-class family a man and his wife and 2 kids, and all their possessions took up maybe the space of this tabletop. And then you go, like in Russia, for example, and what they did for the photographs is they took everything that the people had out of their houses and put it in front of the house and photographed their possessions with the people. In Russia, it maybe took up not even the full room, okay? And then you come to America with the cars and with the clothes and with this, at least a half an acre, okay? So obviously, like, how much of this do you need, right? How much do you need? So we grew up with this disposable concept, like, oh, I'll buy it and then I'll throw it out. I'll eat half of it and I'll throw the rest out, and so on, So it's mamish not an appreciation for the value of everything. Okay? It's not an appreciation for the value of every person. Many times I have compassion on other people, but only when they're in front of my eyes. I don't stand at the corner of the street waiting for a person to show up. Lama? Why is that? It's because I still haven't tasted the great love that God had for the world before he created it. You hear what he's saying as he's explaining Olam Chesed Yibaneh. It's because of Hashem's love that he created the world. Because of his great love. See, there's love before creation and there's love after creation. Love after creation is how much do I enjoy this? How much do I appreciate this? How much does it make me feel good? Right? Love before creation is about how much love you have to do, to give.
Hashem's love.
Yeah.
Because of Hashem's love before creation came upon the sentence of, because of his love before creation, he created the world.
Yeah. Okay. So, כשקראת אברהם אבינו ברית עם Hashem, so when, sorry, I have another sentence in that paragraph. כדי לדעת את זה, אני צריך שמישהו יסביר לי, שמישהו ילמד אותי. To know about this love before creation, I need somebody to teach me. I need someone to explain it to me. כשקראת אברהם אבינו ברית עם Hashem, when God made the covenant with Avraham Avinu, who התמלא באור אלוקי, he was filled with divine light. Hashem ha'ir bo kol kach. God illuminated, enlightened him so much. Ad shehu zachal litom ad kama hishtokek Hashem lahanik be'et shebarat ha'olam. That Avraham Avinu merited to get a taste of how much God yearned to give at the time that he created the world. And as a result, Gam Avraham Ratzal Linhog Kach, so Avraham Avinu also wanted to live his life that way. אני לא מסתפק במדרגה שרק כשאראה איזה לא יצלח מסכן, יתעוררו בי רחמים. It's not enough for me that I should reach the madrega that when I see some nevach person, that then my compassion is aroused. אני רוצה גוואלד כמה אני רוצה להיות שם ברחוב ולחפש את העני. I want to be in the street, I want to be looking for the poor man so that I could help him. Right? So it's a whole different level of chesed.
It's to understand that I'm here to give, but giving is the giving, not the other way around. people think to get, but it's really to give.
Well, it looks like Sarah is on her way to becoming a tzedekis.
What?
So you look like you're on your way to becoming a tzedekis. Halavai,
Is that in connection to the class?
to what we're learning. I see it like every word that we're learning. She's... Amen.
Every word is like
Yeah. Okay. So again, take a lesson like this. We have a couple more minutes, okay? But take a lesson like this. And the question is, I got to run to a dentist appointment, so I'm going to end a couple of minutes early. But take a lesson like this. So it's beautiful, right? But we got to anchor it, okay? We got to anchor it, which means to say you got to do something practical with it. So, B'ezrat Hashem, today, before Shabbos, try to find somebody or some situation where you can do something without waiting to be aroused to do it, without waiting for someone to ask you. Okay? The Siyata Dishmaya, will go michoyel al choyel from level to level and keep on doing these things. Good Shabbos, good Shabbos, good Shabbos. Next week is Lachlecha.
next week I start school.
Cool. What's that?
As long as you remember why you're there.
Starting
Which school are you going to?
The beginning.
So it's right
Second year.
nearby.
I'm second year.
Huh?
Second year.
But where is it?
In Bidaka.
So it's not so far away.
It's education.
And this is informal education. So tell them that every day from 12:30 to 1:30 you're busy with informal education.
No, but I might. Can we come to Tanya class in the morning?
I'm not doing it anymore because now I teach at 9 o'clock
Oh, okay.
in the men's program.
Okay.
So 7:30, 7:15 I'm already out of the house. Okay.
Never mind.
So, but so 1 second. So you need a shear in the morning. 6:30.
No, because I have to do yoga before I go to shir.
Don't cry. Well,
I'll figure it out.
I can do 7 o'clock. 7 to 7:20 I can do. 7 to 7:15.
I'm
Okay.
trying.
Let me know if we're gonna do it, okay?
I'll think about it.
Think about it.
So I think this one will be tip.
This one keep on. Thank you, Essie. I'm walking your way, Essie. Are you going home?
Yeah.
Okay, you just gotta want to just go say goodbye to Judy and
Is there a shashus?
yes, Shalish Shudasim Yusashem. Did you mind grabbing the phone in the kitchen?
I'm sorry I didn't come by last night. Was it good? No, I wanted to.